Hi guys, quick share of some tags I've made. This first one here, I've used a vintage flashcard. I've coffee stained, and I've also used some distressed ink on them. Some little lace snippet pieces, some fabric, little creepy cloth, some picture, little rusted pin that I made. And then this little is a copy of a vintage ladies magazine. And this one here, I've used some paper ruffles, some fabric ruffles, lace ruffle, and then this is a Tim Holtz pin and a Tim Holtz word. And then these little Insta frames here I made, and it's on a coffee dyed tag. And they are all coffee dyed, kind of vintage grungy. And then we have this one here. Again, there's the lace trim, rose trim. There's some ruffled pattern paper, some lace. Then you've got some music sheet behind it, and a little bulb pin with a little dangle. And then this is a little bow out of sari silk. And then we got a sari silk and fabric tie at the top. This one here, I've used the music sheet, kind of collaged the paper on in the background. This is a little hibiscus, and it's got little purple centers. I used a little snippet clip up here and attached a paper clip, a rusted paper clip, with just some sari silk and then just a piece of fabric on that one. And they're, like I said, they're all coffee dyed. Some are a little grungier than others on the back, but most of them are coffee stained. And then this one here has a little button on the bulb pin with a little tag that says moments, and then a little snippet tag here. And then I've just used pieces of snippets off of different lace pieces and trims. And most of this fabric, or the trims, come from Esme's shop on Crafty Me on Facebook. We've got some creepy cloth, and then just some coffee stained lace here, a little school picture, and I've used a piece of lace that looked like buckles, and I trimmed that centerpiece out to make it like a little frame. And I've stitched around the edge of this one, and most of this is stitched down, and then I've glued it to the tag. We have another one here with 3 rusted paper clips, ruffled fabric, piece of lace, an applique on that one. And then here we have another one that has just some pieces of applique, a little flower, some creepy cloth, gathered lace here, and then this here was a piece of trim. And then we got a long dangle trim there, and that's coffee stained. And then I've also did a little, used a stencil on the back and put a little bit of a design on that one. Here's another one similar to that one, a little different on the dangle and how I've set up the pieces of snippet lace. And here's a snippet here with a rusted paper, or a safety pin, some creepy cloth, some vintage music sheets, and again, it's pretty grungy on that one. We have this one here, and I've used some pieces of applique. This was a lace trim. I've stitched around the picture, used some creepy cloth. There's another little flower down here. Used some sari silk at the top, and then collaged the background. There is some vintage paper from a ledger book, an old book paper, and then some vintage music paper. And then this tag here, I've used a paper clip at the top with sari silk and some little pieces of fabric for the top. There's a little snippet here. I've used a paper doily. There's another one of those little Polaroid, Insta Polaroid frames that I made. And then pieces of lace. Here is a rusted paper safety pin attached to a ruffled piece of fabric. and we have a piece of lace here with a the rose trim that I coffee dyed, and then creepy cloth. And the way I get these so dark with the coffee is I use a real strong, like the instant coffee, and then I use like a half a cup, maybe even a cup of the coffee grounds to a quart of water. If it's too strong, then I'll add a little more water to it, but that's how I get my my stain, coffee stain, so dark on these. And this I've used a little muffin or a cupcake paper. I flipped the top down and just made flat across and added just some little snippet pieces of lace, and there's some creepy cloth and some sheer fabric on it, and just little snippets, and then I put a bulb pin with a little button on that. And then I have an envelope, half an envelope, and I've kind of did the coffee dye, and I've used a little gesso and white paint on the back. I've put a real cute little snippet strip here, little button with the little applique bow, and then inside is a little journaling card with a snippet on top of it and a picture of, looks like two little boys. And then I have another flash card, and it's vintage coffee dyed, and I've used a vintage piece of music sheet, some creepy cloth, this applique, and then this here is just an old, it's part of a piece of lace. It had like medallions on it, and I just cut it in half and used half on this little tag here. And then I got the creepy cloth under that. And then last here I have a coffee stained envelope, and I've stitched around it. I've added a little picture that I stitched around, and then just again some little snippet pieces, and I have used black thread on this one. I tend to use the tan colored even though I do the grungy. I like the black thread. I'm just trying to step out of my comfort zone and use the black thread when stitching these together. It is a usable envelope. And then this trim here, some little rose trim, and I just kind of took a little bit of the coffee and just kind of touched it up and give it a grungy look. And thank you guys for watching.